Today, I want to share with you a small cap stock, only 7 million shares in the float. I think we smash all-time highs this week, possibly even tomorrow. Let's get right into it. First, if you don't mind, smash that like button, click and subscribe if you haven't. Also, turning on those post notifications, I'd greatly appreciate it. Now, the ticker COYA, Koya Therapeutics, looks ready to explode. We've talked about this chart multiple times over the past few weeks. We alerted right at $5. I think it was like 490, 505, right as it was about to test this crucial breakout level, which was the all-time weekly. And again, we've had many instances where it's wicked above, right? But it does not close. Even on the all-time high run to 8, it did not close above 526. This was clear and obvious to see. Massive, massive resistance. But at the same time, right, there was a lot of accumulation that happened in this range. So 520 was really the ceiling for the past 13 months. The bottom here was really 350. It was rare that it traded there that long. There's definitely some demand at 320, but it pretty much has a $2 range, right? It's a $2 range, and it's just accumulation and consolidation. And finally, bang, it was explosive. I mean, this was really easy to see. We mentioned institutional ownership and also buyer interest coming from David Einhorn of Greenlight Capital. Doesn't matter for these hedge funds and portfolio guys, right? They're focused on percentage and net return, right? This is a huge gain for them. If they were buying everything at $3-4, they're getting close to 100% return on their investments. So Koya here definitely can go to another galaxy once it snaps 8 because there's no historical trading. So leave a comment in the section below if you think Koya is primed and ready to explode. What other biotechs are you involved in? I'd love to hear some different tickers in the section below. I think this is ready to explode. Companies they've worked with. And again, after doing the offerings, what type of effect does it have on the share price? So we're going to start with ticker TIRX. This goes all the way back to June 7th of 2021. They did a 15 million public offering. And again, when you take a look at the share price here, absolute madness, $55 all the way up to $519. This was the last week in January 28th to March 3rd. That is roughly 1 month. The stock goes up 10x, absolutely ripping faces, nothing stopping it. Just super, super bullish. And the one thing I thought was really interesting was at IPO, we saw it went from like $82 all the way to $250, right? You look at this range here, you saw how aggressively the move was right off the rip. Okay, it came back down, it settled somewhere $60, $80, and then just blasted off, went another 10x up. Absolute madness, absolute craziness. Now, I want to say again that the cap structure on most of these companies are relatively tight, right? They all have China connections or roots in China in some way. Some are even headquarters there. But most of the share structure you'll see is a couple million in the float. And again, maybe 20, 30 million. It could be upwards of 50 or 60 million in the OS. But relative, all the floats are, I think, 10 million or less. So I just want to, again, put that out there. There's certainly a correlation between majority of these tickers. Okay. The next one here is going to be TKLF. This was January 13th of 2023 here. We saw again, the same thing, closing of an IPO. And then when we look at the chart, just absolute madness, $13 to 43 in 1 day, just absolutely blasts off, this unstoppable force like a bullet, just shredding through paper. There's nothing stopping it here. And again, for $4 a share, we see a 6 million raise there. So again, it's nothing crazy, right? This isn't like it's a 20 or 30 or $40 million raise. It's smaller, but still a real nice move right off the bat, squeezing anybody out. Okay. The next we're going to see is Top TOP. A lot of people don't know that they took them public, right? This was IPO back in June. This was over a year ago, 25 million. And what's really impressive about this is they took it all the way from 13 to 50, right? This was a matter of like 2 or 3 weeks. This thing just absolutely blows up. But the one thing that was interesting is this IPO for $5, right? So this goes all the way down 5 and then somewhere to like almost 30. So it goes 5 to 30 here right off the rip. That's like a 6x on IPO. And then it comes back down, reaccumulates on the bottom, then just goes all the way up another 10x from there, which again, very, very impressive. Now, again, what followed a year later was the big move that came, which everyone witnessed back in April of this year, which is 23, right? Simmering, nothing going for